Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at Transformers Energon Command Class Landmine. This figure came out in 2004 as part of Wave 2 of the Command assortment. I figured this would be as good a start as any into the Energon toy line, and we begin our foray with Landmine's vehicle mode. Landmine turns into a big orange and gray thing. It's a truckish thing with a giant fucking plow on the front. The proportions of the standalone vehicle is a little scattershot, but that serves a greater purpose. The giant plow itself is done up in some nice brassy gold and makes its presence known with the silver paint weathering. The wheels, strangely enough, pull a Beast Machine's blast charge and have two separate sculpts. The cockpit brings things back a bit with some translucent yellow windows and sculpted seats. How about that? Now about that half-formed backside. Being a command class figure, Landmine comes packed with a brute mode. His originally trucky thing alternate mode gets extended and bulked up to become what TF Wiki describes as a Cybertronic half-track battlefield recovery vehicle. Oh boy, this thing really does warrant a name like that. This thing is an absolutely massive monster with tons of action features. For starters, the Earth Rippers at the back are posable a la Revenge of the Fallen Rampage for all your Earth-ripping needs. Next, molded in baby blue and dark gray is a spring-loaded missile that is a little dead on arrival. Finally, the big attraction, Landmine's Power Winch. The string can extend and can be retracted at the press of a button. Pressing that button usually warrants a sound clip, but I can't be bothered to change the batteries, so I'll just simulate what it sounds like. Transformation into Landmine's robot mode is full of the satisfying chunky movements that the Unicron trilogy is so loved for. Starting by splitting the front plow in three pieces, Landmine's beefy vehicular form explodes and lengthens to form quite a strapping robot. Do be careful with the plow bits forming his feet, as they're connected to a metric buttload of joints, so they're more than a bit fiddly. Piecing together the arm assembly is a cinch, and the transformation is capped off by a dynamic and satisfying super robot head reveal. Landmine is one leggy boy. Most of the mass of his vehicle mode proper goes into his shins, but unlike Titan's Return Astro Train, I'd say this works for him. I think the proportional thighs go a long way to help Landmine's overall build. And just because he's bottom heavy doesn't mean the rest of him isn't strong. His chest and torso is powerful and beefy, and he's sporting a nicely painted plow loincloth. In the middle of his chest, there's an Autobot spark crystal, upon which you can affix an Energon star if you have one. The smokestacks on his shoulders are adjustable in any way you see fit. The head sculpt is a real treat, looking like a cross between a Kanohi Miru and Cybertron Jetfire, and features some bright yellow light piping. Being a figure from the early 2000s, Landmine's articulation is a ceremoniously clicky cacophony of both heavy and light ratchet joints. The shoulders have a nice light detented ratchet, while the elbows, hips, and knees are all nicely heavy and sturdy ratchet joints. Sadly, the elbows are a little too heavy, sacrificing some subtlety when posing in. Also, he's missing any worthwhile posing options in the ankles, which I thought would have been easier to implement considering all the joints they're in. Still though, it's not half bad. Do be careful, however, since moving his legs too much can detach his groinal halves, making things uncomfortable and loose. The rest of Landmine's alternate mode doesn't have to sit idly by, it can transform too. It's a simple process of basically manipulating every piece on the assembly, but it gets the job done. The half-track half of Landmine's vehicle mode turns into a makeshift turret battlement thingy. There's no actual handles for Landmine to man the thing, but it's a good enough size next to him to pretend. Alright, you know what this thing's really for. The battlement splits into three pieces, two from the treads and rippers, and one from the turret. Affixing the parts to Landmine requires minimal work, only having to slide in the hands. Snapping the backpack onto Landmine's back would normally cause the transformation noise, but still no batteries, so... And here we have the main event, Landmine's Brute Mode. This thing is absolutely stunning. The treaded ripping arms and the beefy arsenal of a backpack really make Landmine look stronger than ever. The original robot mode is still clearly visible under all the kibble, but his silhouette has changed drastically. Surprisingly enough, posability is mostly unimpeded, although the backpack does make him significantly more back-heavy, but the Ripper arms can alleviate that somewhat. And the 2 navy blue blade pieces on top are adjustable. LANDMINE is an extremely good figure, seriously. He's fun in every mode and comes with an extensive play pattern all on his own. He's one of the shining gems of the Unicron trilogy. And if the orange, blue, and gray don't suit you, there's always the Landquake Redeco. This has been Katastrophe. Thank you for supporting me through 30 reviews. I'll be catching you next week for another one, but until then, it's time for me to transform and roll out.